The noise that snapped me bolt upright wasn't the low drone of the refrigerator. It was the slow, careful twist of my front door handle. Click. A brief pause. Then the distinct metallic scrape of a key being fed into the lock. I placed my coffee mug down quietly. My pulse kicked up a notch. My townhouse stood alone at the far end of a peaceful cul-de-sac, where very little ever disturbed the calm. Certainly nothing like this. Through the frosted panel of the door, a hazy silhouette took shape. Short, solid build, hair pulled back into a severe, tight bun. Even without a clear view of her face, I recognized her instantly. Mrs. Dalton HOA President, the neighborhood's tireless busybody, the sort of woman who treated property values as a personal license to dictate the shade of your doormat. Rumors had long circulated that she possessed a master key for so-called emergency inspections, though the association had never officially sanctioned it. I dismissed the talk as idle gossip. Until this moment. Almost there, I heard her murmur under her breath as the lock surrendered with a soft, final click. The handle began to turn. Mrs. Dalton. My voice came out sharper than I'd meant it to. The turning stopped dead. The door eased open 2 inches, and her face appeared in the gap. Polite surprise painted across her features. "Oh, I was simply inspecting your door security," she said, offering a smile that seemed to cost her effort. "HOA's safety protocol, you understand." "With your own key?" I asked, stepping forward. Her gaze slid past me into the living room. "There have been incidents lately. I'm ensuring everyone's safety." From upstairs came the sound of quick, light footsteps. Caleb, my son, was awake. "Dad, who's at the door?" His tone carried curiosity, but I caught the familiar edge beneath it, the one that signaled his mind was already turning, already plotting. Mrs. Dalton's expression softened into something artificially warm. "Oh, hello there, young man. Just lending your father a hand." Caleb came padding down the stairs in pajama pants, hair wild in every direction. He stopped beside me and studied her the way he might study a math problem that refused to solve itself. His eyes settled on the brass key still gripped between her fingers. "What happens?" he asked in a perfectly calm voice. "If you use that key when nobody's home?" Her mouth opened, then closed. I glanced sideways at him and noticed the faint, sly grin tugging at one corner of his lips. I'd seen that look before, most recently when he rigged a motion-activated sprinkler to guard our tomato plants from squirrels. Whatever plan was forming behind his eyes now, I had the strong feeling Mrs. Dalton was entirely unprepared for it. She shifted her weight on the porch, visibly unsettled by Caleb's unflinching stare. I could practically hear the mental machinery grinding inside her head. "Well," she said at last, "I should be going. Other homes still need checking." She pulled the door gently shut and hurried down the walkway with brisk, purposeful steps. Before the latch even clicked fully closed, Caleb turned to me. "Dad, she's going to try it again." I frowned. "Maybe, but what can we do? She's the HOA president. If I call her out without evidence, that's why we get evidence." He cut in. He tugged me toward the kitchen, reached into the junk drawer, and pulled out a small notebook. Flipping to a clean page, he began sketching a rough diagram of our entryway. "We put the camera here." He tapped a spot on the corner shelf near the coat rack. "Angle it straight at the door." Then he drew a large, exaggerated rectangle and labeled it trap. "Trap?" I raised an eyebrow. "Dangerous," he said quickly, grinning wider. "Just enough to make her think twice before she ever touches our lock again." By mid-afternoon, Caleb had raided the garage and returned with the compact battery-powered air horn, a spool of thin fishing line, and the wireless door camera I'd purchased months earlier, but never bothered to set up. He laid out the plan with the calm precision of someone orchestrating a heist. Fishing line ties the horn to the inside handle. Door opens more than 2 inches, bam. Instant chaos. And the camera captures everything. I couldn't hold back a laugh. "You've really thought this through." "It's not just about us," he said seriously. "If she's got that key, she could be going through anyone's house. Someone has to stop her." We worked together in quiet focus, mounting the camera so it was nearly invisible, threading the fishing line so fine it vanished against the white trim. Caleb tested the rig twice, once with me opening the door, once with him. Both times the air horn erupted so loudly we flinched. By evening, the trap was armed and waiting. Now, we simply had to be patient. The next morning I left for work at the usual time. Caleb, home for summer break, stayed behind. Around 10 o'clock, my phone buzzed with a text from him. "She's here." My heart picked up speed as I opened the live feed on my phone. There was Mrs. Dalton, glancing left and right before sliding the brass key into her lock as smoothly as if she'd done it countless times. The door cracked open. The air horn detonated with a shattering blast. Mrs. Dalton's reaction was priceless. She flew backward as though jerked by an invisible tether. Her handbag launched off her arm. Papers fluttered across the porch like startled birds. The camera's microphone caught a strangled yelp, half gasp, half outrage. "Good heavens!" she snapped, hand pressed to her chest. She spun in a frantic circle, hunting for the source of the noise, only to realize it was still screaming from just inside the door. In the hallway, Caleb sat cross-legged on the floor, grinning from ear to ear. I could hear his muffled laughter through the live feed on my phone at work. Mrs. Dalton's eyes flicked toward the narrow gap in the door, but she made no move to push it wider. She straightened her blazer with shaky dignity, gathered her scattered belongings into her bag, and marched toward the street, only to freeze when Mr. Consincade, our next-door neighbor, stepped out onto his porch. "Everything all right, Karen?" he called, clearly fighting back a smirk. Her cheeks flushed a bright pink. "Perfectly fine, thank you." Just startled by a malfunctioning door alarm, Caleb silenced the horn with a quick tap on his phone and leaned casually against the wall, waiting. She huffed, turned on her heel, and strode away, but not before throwing one last resentful glance over her shoulder at our front door, as though it had personally betrayed her. When I got home that afternoon, Caleb was practically bouncing with excitement. "You've got to see this," he said, dragging me straight to the laptop. The footage was even better than I'd pictured. Razor-sharp video of Mrs. Dalton fumbling the key into the lock. The precise instant her expression shifted from smug to stunned as the air horn erupted. Her dramatic backward launch. "She won't be able to talk her way out of this," I said. "It's ironclad proof she's been using that key." Caleb's eyes gleamed. "I was thinking, what if we send it to the entire HOA email list?" I hesitated. That would be bold, maybe too bold. Risky, too, but deeply satisfying. "She's going to hate us," I warned. "She's already sneaking into people's houses," he countered. "She's earned it." We agreed to hold off, at least until we were certain she wouldn't strike again right away. That night, I transferred the footage to a secure drive and locked it away, but Mrs. Dalton didn't vanish. The next morning, I spotted her standing on the sidewalk directly across from our house, phone in hand, pretending to scroll while stealing glances at our door. Caleb watched from his upstairs vantage point. "She's plotting something," he murmured. He wasn't wrong. The expression on her face made it clear that whatever she had in mind wouldn't be pleasant. The following morning felt strangely hushed. No barking dogs, no lawnmowers, only the steady drone of cicadas in the thick summer heat. Caleb was stationed at his favorite lookout spot by the upstairs window, cereal bowl in hand. "She's back," he whispered, like a scout reporting enemy activity. Mrs. Dalton stood on the sidewalk again, but this time she had company. Beside her was Mr. Briggs, the HOA vice president, a man who treated the bylaws like sacred text. He clutched a clipboard, flipping pages with theatrical seriousness. "They're casing the joint," Caleb said, eyes narrowing. I stepped outside to grab the mail, acting as if I hadn't noticed them. That's when I caught it. Mrs. Dalton subtly pointing toward my front lawn, then gesturing at the shrubs beside the porch. Mr. Briggs jotted something down. When I came back inside, Caleb was already waiting at the door. "She's trying to slap you with the violation so she can justify coming after you." "Classic move," I sighed. "We're going to need more than just the air horn clip," Caleb grinned. Good thing I added another camera. Apparently, while I'd been at work the day before, he'd mounted a second one disguised as a birdhouse right on the porch. It covered not only the front door, but the entire yard, driveway, and sidewalk. Perfect for monitoring our new inspection team. By now, the feed showed Mrs. Dalton and Mr. Briggs walking straight up to our door while I was away. She didn't attempt the key this time. Instead, she bent down and slipped something under the doormat. "What's that?" I asked, leaning toward the screen. Caleb zoomed in. "Looks like a notice." "Wait, no, Dad. It's a warning citation." She planted it without even knocking. When I got home, the folded paper was exactly what he'd described. A $75 fine for unapproved decorative elements in front landscaping. The offending element. The very birdhouse camera she had no idea was recording her every move. Caleb's grin turned downright wicked. She just painted herself into a corner. We've got her planting evidence. That night, we edited the clips together, the master key incident paired with the doormat drop. The combination was devastating. 2 days, 2 blatant oversteps, both captured in high definition. We send it to the HOA board first, Caleb decided. That way she can't spin the narrative before they see the truth. I agreed. We composed a concise email with the subject line, "Security concerns, unauthorized actions by HOA president." We attached both videos and hit send. The next morning, Mrs. Dalton's car was absent from her driveway. By afternoon, whispers were rippling through the neighborhood. And by evening, the reply email arrived, the one that would shift everything. Thursday night's HOA meeting was packed to capacity. Word had traveled faster than Mrs. Dalton could ever have anticipated. Neighbors gathered in tight clusters, murmuring like spectators at an impending trial. Caleb and I took seats near the back. He had the video files queued on his tablet, ready to plug into the projector if the moment called for it. Mrs. Dalton entered with her chin lifted high, but her eyes darted nervously across the crowd. Mr. Briggs followed, looking far less assured than usual. "Let's call this meeting to order," Mrs. Dalton began, voice clipped and crisp. "Point of order," Mr. Consincade interrupted from the front row. "Before the agenda, there's a matter of security violations that needs immediate attention." Every head swiveled toward us. Caleb rose and walked to the front with the calm confidence of someone twice his age. "I have 2 short videos I believe everyone should see." The projector flickered to life. First clip. Mrs. Dalton inserting her brass key, the air horn's deafening blast, her startled backward leap. A wave of gasps and scattered chuckles swept the room. Second clip. Mrs. Dalton crouching to slide the citation under our doormat, convinced no one was watching. This time, the reaction cut deeper murmurs of disapproval. Folded arms, slow head shakes. When the screen faded to black, Caleb stepped aside. "This isn't just about our house," he said clearly. "If she did it to us, she could do it to any of you." Mrs. Dalton stood slowly. "These videos are misleading. Are they false?" Someone called from the back. She hesitated. "They may have been taken out of context." That was the tipping point. Mr. Briggs shifted in his seat, visibly uneasy, and finally spoke. "I wasn't aware of any master key, Karen, or of issuing a citation without notice. That's not protocol." A motion to remove her as HOA president was proposed on the spot. When the vote was called, the result wasn't even close. Mrs. Dalton's face flickered between shock and fury, but she stayed silent as she gathered her belongings. She avoided looking at us while she left the room, the brass key hanging loosely from her fingers until she set it down almost reluctantly on the table by the door. Caleb leaned close and whispered, "Lesson learned." The meeting shifted to routine business, holiday lights, lawn care, but the atmosphere felt noticeably lighter. People smiled more freely. Several neighbors approached us afterward to offer quiet thanks. Later, as we walked home beneath the soft glow of streetlights, Caleb asked, "Do you think she'll try anything again?" I shook my head. "Not with the whole neighborhood keeping an eye out." He grinned. "Then I guess the air horn can retire." But knowing Caleb, I made sure we kept it within easy reach just in case. And that's how one small red air horn, a couple of cleverly placed cameras, and some fast thinking flipped the script on our neighborhood's biggest busybody. If you enjoyed this story, hit that subscribe button so you never miss the next one. Smash the like if you think we handled the situation just right, and drop a comment below. What's the wildest neighbor story you've ever lived through?